Time. Hi, judges. We live in a world of measurements and metrics. We're taught more is better. More customers, more sales, more money, things that are quantifiable. Ideas of success are largely defined by these numbers, forcing us to focus on how much we have instead of what we can do with it. So, what if we metrics? I'm gonna grind your coffee. Please write down the tasting experiences for your espresso and milk course, and I'll be right back. The coffee that I'm sharing with you today is a naturally processed geisha from the El Abraje farm in Colombia. I had the opportunity to talk to Pablo, the owner of El Abraje, and he changed the way that I viewed what the metric for success and sustainability can look like in the coffee industry. Pablo talked about the last decade and the rise in popularity of geisha coffee and experimental processing methods, both of which are incredibly expensive to produce. But El Abraje planted their very first geisha trees almost exactly 10 years ago to both increase international visibility of the farm in order to showcase other coffee varietals they produce and to push innovation and excellence in coffee production and quality. El Abraje now has over 14,000 geisha trees in production. This number might seem like a lot, but these trees make up only about 5% of the El Abraje farm. What drew me even closer to the El Abraje story is that only 25% of the farm is used to grow coffee, while 60% is devoted to reforestation to become a natural forest reserve. While they could be using most of the land to grow coffee, they instead devote over half of the land to make a more meaningful impact on the environment, finding a balance between economic and environmental sustainability for themselves and their community. Judges, when I serve you your espressos, please only evaluate crema and wait to drink till I instruct. My espresso recipe today is 18 grams in, 45 grams out, in 23 seconds. I froze the coffee beans on dry ice, producing a more uniform grind size, allowing for a coarser grind setting, which accentuates sweetness in the cup and produces a silky tactile. I'm also using frozen coasters to more quickly and gently cool your espressos, bringing sweetness, acidity, and bitterness into balance. In your espressos today, you're going to be tasting green grape, red raspberry, and toffee, with a silky tactile, a medium light weight, and a lingering finish. While I prep your milk course, please rapidly stir your espressos in a circular motion for 10 seconds. Leave the spoons on the white coaster and enjoy.
Give it up for those espressos.
For your milk course today, I've changed the extraction ratio of the espresso to in, 35 grams out, in 19 seconds. The ratio produces a more concentrated shot, allowing the espresso to shine through and perfectly pair with the freeze distilled milk, where I've removed 50% of the water content. For the milk in this course, I'm using a ratio of half whole milk, half lactose-free cow's milk. Lactose-free milk tastes sweeter because it goes through a process to break down the large lactose molecules into smaller glucose and galactose sugar molecules, which our taste buds perceive more easily. You're going to be experiencing peaches and sweet cream, and Werther's Original Caramel. A milk beverage does not need to be the entry point into the specialty coffee industry, but rather could be industry leading and change seasoned coffee professionals' opinions on what a milk beverage can be. Planted geisha trees to more really elevate coffee excellence on his farm. I'm using his natural geisha to showcase the level of excellence a milk beverage can achieve. Perhaps the metric to define success in a milk beverage isn't just about being a steady for caffeine, but is also an intentionally crafted, elevated beverage that might be polarizing for some. But maybe polarization push us forward. Today's coffee is a when the metric for success is defined beyond that of a coffee score. It's instead a combination of coffee quality excellence, listening to community needs, and creating a sustainable farm, community, and natural world. When I first had the privilege of experiencing this coffee, the delicate florals and sweet citrus notes reminded me of a well-crafted gin cocktail, reminiscent of a gin-based aviation. So for my signature beverage, I'm highlighting these florals and complex acidities to showcase this coffee's incredible potential. One of my favorite things about this coffee. So to emphasize this, I've been cooling 4 shots of the El Brahe espresso to serve this beverage to you slightly chilled. In doing so, I'm able to accentuate the amount of acidity you'll experience while maintaining the sweetness of the espresso. To those 4 shots, I'm adding 40 grams of a coffee milk. I curated by blending 50 grams of the El Brahe natural geisha with 200 grams of water, then straight into the AeroPress. This coffee milk adds back in some of that florality that's added by chilling and spaces out the flavors of the beverage. Combining with that is 30 grams of botanical berries, grams of ginger, steeped in 190 degrees of our time together, and has since then been cooling with the espresso. These are coffee milk and create a new aromatic experience of gin. I'm adding 10 grams of a lime oleo saccharum I created by tossing 75 grams of lime peels with 25 grams of sugar. The lime peels and the sugar are muddled together and left for 12 hours, during which the sugar extracts the oils from the lime peel, creating a sweet, concentrated lime oil syrup, which accentuates that red raspberry note. To balance the acid, barb has a high concentration of malic acid and acts as a contrast to the citric notes in the natural geisha and oleo saccharum, transforming that red raspberry note into a new flavor of apricot. Emulsify the oils in the oleo saccharum and the espresso, I'm able to transform that silky texture that you experienced in the espresso into a new tactile experience of soft and pillowy. While I blend, please write down the tasting experience for your signature beverage listed on the menu cards in front of you. Judges, please wait to drink till I call time. Then, swirl for 10 seconds to fully reincorporate that foam and take in the gin mix. Then, take 2 big sips, in which you will experience a soft and pillowy texture, lavender, ripe apricot, and sweet key lime zest. This drink is an example of how we can redefine success in a high-volume cafe, not based on money, sales, or ticket times, but instead based on the quality of guest interactions, the coffee we serve, and cultivating an environment of innovation and growth. There's opportunities to create lasting interactions that will leave an impact on both the barista and the guest, allowing coffees like this El Brahe natural geisha to be given the time, care, and intentionality it deserves. These are often unmeasured by somebody else's measuring, but what can happen if we start measuring success using our own measuring tapes? Success becomes less about money, status, or validation. It instead becomes individual and empowering. Thank you. Time.
Give it up for Brooke. Brooke.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Yeah.
Before I have one question I want to ask you 100%, but do you anybody want to thank back home, here?
Yes. First of all, Veronica Grimm, my coach, thank you so much for everything, the entire Elixir team for supporting me and believing me and getting me this far. Yeah, everyone who's been a part of this and part of my team.
Let's talk about milk.
Okay.
So you use 50-50 whole milk, lactose-free milk for
Yes.
your milk round, and then you use a coffee milk for your sig bev round, correct?
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind that? Like, what made you like use like two different kinds of milk for like your courses?
Yeah. So for my milk beverage, I really wanted to kind of like elevate what our standards were, what we kind of like have come to experience as a milk beverage, make it kind of like a more elevated experience. And so adding that lactose-free milk kind of like brings more of a sweetness into the beverage and kind of highlights the sweetness notes that are in the actual espresso. And then for the coffee milk and the signature beverage, I wanted to highlight the florality, and the coffee milk kind of brings back some of those floral notes as well.
That's amazing. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that jumped out at me was like first the 50-50 lactose-free whole milk and then the coffee milk. That's amazing.
Thank you.
What was the journey like for you competing? Like, what was the experience like? Do you love it? Do you love competing? Are you a competitor?
It was incredible. It was a lot of work, pretty intense 2 months, but I loved every second of it. I loved being able to explore this coffee and see everything that it had to offer. Definitely love competing. Yeah.
Is there anything in particular about competition that you would change? That you want to do different or more time?
I don't know. I mean, I think that like the coffee industry is always evolving, so I think it will change. So I think it's just a matter of seeing like how it works and flows with the industry. But yeah,
All right, give it up one more time for Brooke.
thank you.
We'll be back with a word from our sponsors.
It takes intention, passion, and excellence